Hello. Just here to lead you through a bit of information about our next week worth of lessons. I'm hoping this works okay. Make myself a little bigger here. I might have to move this around the screen just so you can see the whole slide. But anyways, I figure it's better if you can see me in the screen and we can go through it this way. So this week we're going to focus on Earth Day. It happens on Wednesday, Wednesday, April 22nd. And it's a worldwide thing. It's been happening for about 50 years. And so it started in 1970, and people still celebrate Earth Day as a way to kind of, um, look at environmentalism and how we can contribute positively to the Earth. And climate change and things like that has been a big topic recently. And it's a pretty big issue, actually, worldwide. So Earth Day is like a day that we use to just raise awareness for this whole kind of climate change problem that we're having. So what is this thing? I'm going to move my face. Actually, why don't I put myself over here? Perfect. I'll become a little smaller. So what is it? It's the environmental movement. It's kind of just realizing what's your impact on the planet and how can you improve your kind of influence on the Earth. Things like transportation, using a lot of electricity, uh, burning fossil fuels in other ways to heat your house and things like that. Garbage, recycling. These are all just important things that we can be more conscious of to improve our impact on the planet. And we're just going to explore a few of the ways that we can help the Earth this week to celebrate Earth Day. So you might have done your carbon footprint analysis if you clicked on the link in the Google document. And I did mine. And when I did mine, it says here that I contributed 14.2 tons, I think, in the last year, just based on a few questions that I answered. And the goal is that we only contribute 10.5 tons of carbon dioxide. So obviously I'm above, which isn't good. So I'm trying to think of ways that I can improve my carbon footprint, ideally to be below the target. And if you click on view more results or view full results when you do your analysis, it'll show you this slide, and you can see that travel is one of my biggest impacts on the environment. Through spring break or Christmas or going home to Canada to visit my family, I'm doing a lot of travel by plane, and that's a big portion, 56% of my carbon footprint. Imagine if I didn't travel, which I'm doing now, which is kind of good for the environment, is that I'm not taking flights. I already didn't take 3 or 4 flights because of spring break and this virus that's kind of canceled them. So my travel portion recently has been very, very small. So that's good in a way. And that's another thing, like what's happening now, because people are staying put and we're not going anywhere as much. Manufacturing and things like that have decreased. So we're noticing that the greenhouse gases, one of those greenhouse gases is nitrogen dioxide. This is Italy, if you can see the outline. There's before the coronavirus kind of outbreak, and here's after. So there's a large decrease in emissions because of this virus, which is good, but it needs to be longer term, right? This is about flights here. On the 15th of April 2019, there was 15,000 flights, but now, this is just on Monday, the 13th of April, there was only 3,908 flights. So you can see the difference in plane traffic, and that's contributing to a decrease in carbon dioxide emissions from the fuel that's burned by the planes. And also in the news, you would have seen that the canals in Venice have become much clearer, and dolphins are starting to appear and things like that. So nature eventually will take back the parts of the world that we are damaging, but that's going to take a long time. We're just noticing these small changes now because of this drastic decrease in human movement and damage to the planet. So my goal for this week is to have you choose a challenge. You can pick one of these four, but I want you to choose one that you think is interesting to you and one that you think you can do. And I want you to share how that experience was with us as a way to kind of celebrate Earth Day. So one of the challenges is about plastic. How much plastic do we actually use? If you think about it, over the course of a day, and make note of all of the times you actually use something made from plastic, it might be interesting to see how often it actually shows up. Just me sitting here in Beaurevet, I've got a desk chair that's made of plastic. I've got a water bottle that's made of plastic, although it's reusable, which is good. My phone has a plastic case on it and things, just all these little things, like looking at the picture, water bottles, markers, straws, all of these things, garbage bags, they're all made of plastic, and how often it shows up is kind of shocking. And obviously the problem with plastic is that it doesn't biodegrade quickly. So we are left with a lot of plastic waste. So that's the first challenge, how much plastic we actually use. The next challenge is this thing called Earth Hour. On the same kind of time scale as Earth Day, there's this thing called Earth Hour where people turn off their lights and TVs and any electricity for 1 hour in the day to just reduce our consumption, and then also raise awareness to how much we rely on electricity. So on Wednesday, if you choose this challenge, I want you to turn off the lights between 8:30 and 9:30 p.m. So for 1 hour, no electricity at all in the house. So that includes air conditioning, that includes the stove, your laptop, your phone, no electricity. And just kind of imagine like the power went out. What would you do if the power went out? And then I want you to think about like how that impacted your life and how you could just do that more regularly, maybe. Okay. So that's the second challenge, is Earth Hour. The third challenge you could choose is zero waste. So over the course of a day, is it possible to not put anything in the trash? So trying your best to use no waste at all. So again, spend the day and record the amount of trash that you do use, or maybe you can try and minimize it to zero, and reflect on that process. There's actually this thing called the 5 Rs. Normally we just think of like reduce, reuse, and recycle, these three. But there's also refuse, which is just don't buy things that are garbage to begin with. Recycle the garbage if you can. Reuse it. Maybe it's a plastic bottle that you use 2 or 3 times, so that's better than just using it once and throwing it away. A lot of our waste is compostable, so we could actually put a lot of the garbage in, instead of putting it in the bin, we put it into compost. And then reduce is just don't even buy things that are gonna contribute to waste. So reducing the amount of waste we use is a really important factor. So getting you to think about those 5 things while you're going through the day, trying to have zero waste. And the last challenge that you can choose is to eat like a vegetarian. Maybe this is easy for some people that are already vegetarian, but it's been shown that eating meat has a high contribution to greenhouse gas emissions, and that is a fact. So if you eat less meat, you will have a very positive impact on the environment. So spend one day and just don't eat meat. Take pictures of your meals. They can be delicious even if they don't have meat in. They can have protein, they can be flavorful and things like that. And take pictures of your meals for the day and then share them and reflect on how that experience was for you, not eating meat. Okay. So that brings me to the last couple bits. So I'm going to have a Flipgrid link here for you. The stuff that you did last week was awesome, and it was great to see everybody kind of collaborating and sharing their information. And you're going to record yourself explaining what you did, and you must answer these 3 questions in that explanation. So what challenge did you choose, and what did you do? So how did you take on that challenge, and what process did you go through? how did this make an impact on the environment? So even that small little challenge, taking it on for a day or just for the hour, turning on off the electricity, what impact does that have on the environment? And what changes? Oops. Oh no. And last question, what changes can you make to your lifestyle to be more environmentally friendly? So maybe there's a few little bits that you can do just in your own small environment around the house that makes you realize, like, okay, I could make this change and it would be better. So those are the 3 questions I want you to answer in the Flipgrid. And then I want you to find somebody else's that you like and just reply to them and say, what did you like about their challenge? And what is one question that you have for them? So something to just get them thinking a little bit more about their challenge. Okay, so that's the plan for this week. And I'm here to help. And good luck. Happy Earth Day.